Alright, it's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How's everyone going? Alright, we're going to have a look at ICP and see what's been happening to ICP during this little, extreme market correction. Yeah, so before we get into it, please like the video. I know the ICP is hot. It's not hot in price action, but it's hot in popularity. It's getting a lot of views. So I want to keep you updated because I'm still in the same boat where it's like, watch this video before you buy it, because there's some things that have happened, but there's still some things we need to be aware of. And I've just learned a little bit more about it as well. So I just want to kind of make people clear and present about my strategy and I guess the overall, the overall potential of the price action in ICP. All right, so we've got a chart on the screen there, and there's two lines. So I'm going to keep it super simple, right? So listing happened at a very high price, and if you don't understand the way this works, the listing price is based on a whole bunch of bidding up during an IOU process. So people have these tokens locked up, or they were given them, or they knew they were getting them. So there is kind of IOU trading that goes on between people that have them and people that want to buy them. So eventually that price got bidded up quite high. But then, so again, I guess the people that bid up that price wanted to get out because they knew it was probably an inflated price. So they sold, and they sold fairly quickly. So you can see the steep decline in price. Now at a glance, that may appear like a falling knife, and it may appear like a rug pull. But the reality is it's just the market is now finding a level that it feels appropriate to call support and resistance. So we're going to talk through that in a simple manner. Now, things are always changing, but for what we have now is a bunch of data, right? So we're on the Binance chart as well. So in a 4-hourly period, so you can see that there was the falling knife situation where it could not break this downtrend line, and then kind of quickly dipped really low with that kind of Bitcoin crash, or correction, or liquidity event, or whatever you want to call it, right? So big wick there, pulled right back up to like 126, dropped a bit further. That second dip of the liquidity event, $100 US, and then bang, buyers came in and it pushed us back above, briefly above the 200 mark. So I was calling like 200 to be a support resistance level early on. Definitely dipped lower, got above it again. So we've still got that in play. We've still got 190, 200 as a level that we need to break out into to call it support again. But so at the moment it's still resistance. But right now the key level for me is 167. Right there, you can see that red line there, that's the volume defined node, and you can see that there's a wick up there that got tapped back off it. But the beautiful thing is that we are playing out a bull flag. We're in a bull market, so it's a bull flag, and I like the fact that this price is going down, down, down. It's flipped this line from resistance into support, and then it's kind of the price action is flattening out. So hopefully at some point it then flips this line and then goes down, and then maybe kind of breaks up, gets above this kind of 224 mark, and then gets above this kind of 335 mark to then kind of launch on out of there, right? And this is the second part of it, right? Is that to think or to stand by an idea that this thing is worth X, Y, or Z is a silly concept to me. For me, it's a trade. For me, it's simple as a trade that I've got an opportunity to buy something that's fairly newly listed in this zone. For me, anywhere 200 and below is a buy zone. Thinking and hoping and believing that it will go above 600 at some point and there will be a top towards the end of this bull market, and I will sell out. Now, this thing is worth whatever you want to pay for it. Like it's ICP, it's a good project, it's whatever, but you got to remember that some people bought this token very, very early on in initial kind of seed funding rounds for under $1 and maybe even under 10 cents. So there's a lot of people out there that hold a lot of them, and so therefore you've got to understand that not necessarily large dumping, but selling pressure is always going to be there, and is the buying pressure going to stick around throughout a bear market? So you've got to be realistic about what you want out of these things. I still believe that it can do a 10x based purely on Fibonacci's, and I guess we can kind of update that again now because we've got a little bit more of a dip. And when you got a little bit more of a dip, you get a little bit more of a punch, right? So, but we're still in that kind of, from the 200, we're still in that 10x, right? So if your dollar cost averaging in around the 200 level, you're looking at a 10x. Fingers crossed at a 10x by the end of the bull run, which is not unbelievable. It's not unbelievable, understandable, especially when you think things like Dogecoin, which is quite popular, but still not an amazing project, did kind of 2 Fibonacci extensions in the recent times. So it kind of has had 2 alt seasons. So, we're not asking ICP to do anything more than just do what the rest of the market will do in the next 6 months, which is have an alt season, right? So that's a beautiful thing for me, just to know as a trader that I can make this trade, and I can buy, not buy as low as possible, like I think that the end game is to get in on these things earlier, in pre-funding or pre-ICO or seeding rounds, and then, sell them out. But, for me as a retail investor, having bought below this falling knife level, and in and around the kind of 220, 210, and then more recently getting it down towards 100, to probably dollar cost average somewhere around that line there of the 150, 160. I'm okay with that. I'm sitting there going, yeah, it could dip further, but the amount I've invested is not ridiculous. I've got a grand total of 2 ICPs, which is nothing small fry. So if I was to lose all of that money, I would be okay with that. But I don't believe that that's going to happen based on the data I've got. The volume that came in at 100 there, is good for me. I like that. There's some solid volume there. And, in general, the volume since then has been thick, compared to this kind of selling volume, which is coming in here. So hopefully the flash selling is exhausted, and they just took advantage of that Bitcoin dip to kind of get out. And, for the sake of the project, they're not going to kind of drill it to the ground, because I think that people that have got skin in the game, as in large quantities of this token, you'd like to think that they understand that they could ruin the tokenomics and really ruin the price as well, and then ruin the potential kind of, the reputation of the project. So ICP is doing good things for me. The chart is doing good things. Volume is good. And we're just looking to see how it kind of comes out of here, really, and if it can kind of flip this line here into it from resistance into support, and then stay above that 170 mark, and kind of bounce on out of it. But in the last thing, I guess it's good to see that while the rest of the altcoin market has kind of continued to drop quite sharply, in correlation with Bitcoin, ICP is kind of flattened out and gone sideways and or kind of starting to kick around, right? So it just says to me that there was a large sell-off, it was a really large sell-off, and then kind of that bounce back has got it to some kind of an equilibrium, and hopefully we won't see any more big sell-offs. I'm not saying there won't be, because I really don't understand it enough, but from what I can tell and from what I can see on these charts, sideways action and or, kind of creeping to the upside is on the cards. All right, I've been Jared. This has been Crypto Plan. Please please subscribe the video, and click the notification bell if you so desire. I hope you're all well, and look forward to chatting to you on the next one. Bye now.